All right, now it is time for Inventions We Love. We've done this for, how many years have we done this for now?
I think 3.
3? This is one of our favorite. So we go out to all ends of the earth, to both sides of the Puget Sound region, and we get to find the technologies that we love. For this session, each inventor will have 3 minutes to pitch the audience and us on their product. We'll spend a few minutes getting the stories on each invention, and then we're going to turn it over to you in the audience to vote for your favorite by crowd applause at the end. After hearing the presentations, we'll bring all of the inventors back up on stage. We also encourage you to tweet your favorite pitches to GW Summit. So let's get started. Are we ready with Christina, or are we going with Chris?
Yeah, I think Christina.
Chris. Okay, we're going to start with ChefSteps, the Joule. So please welcome Chris Young. He is the co-founder and CEO of ChefSteps.
Thanks, Todd.
Great.
Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Chris. Give me a moment here. So I'm from ChefSteps, and this is Joule. This is the first product that we've launched. It is a sous vide cooking tool. In fact, we think of Joule as the first sous vide cooking tool really designed for the ground up for the home chef. For those of you who aren't familiar with sous vide cooking, it is a dominant cooking technique in many of the world's best restaurants, and not just the best restaurants, many fast casuals. Whether or not you've ever had a sous vide meal, knowingly had a sous vide meal, you've almost certainly eaten sous vide cooking at some point. The technique's actually pretty simple. You have a device that heats and circulates water, and then you take usually proteins, meat, seafood, in this case a nice porterhouse with some herbs. You're going to put that in a pot with some water, and we're going to add Joule to it. And Joule's going to heat and stir the water. That's actually very different than most forms of cooking. Most forms of cooking, you're actually cooking the food at a much higher temperature than you want the food to reach. And so you have to time things just right as a cook. And so a few minutes too long or too short, and your food's either over or undercooked. Sous vide cooking is really a way of adding a measured amount of heat to your food to get a very consistent, reliable result. But up until now, it's actually been a very problematic technique for home cooks, because most of us don't know the ideal temperature that we want our steak or our salmon. We don't know that, for example, you might find medium rare is ideal at 128 degrees Fahrenheit, and you certainly wouldn't be able to estimate that it might take 30 minutes to cook it if it's thawed, but it might take 55 minutes if it's frozen. So with Joule, we decided to move all of those problems over into the software layer, where we can use our mobile app, which you can download from either the iTunes Store or the Google Play Store. And we can use services that ChefSteps has developed, like visual doneness, where you can interact with your tool in a fundamentally more human way just by looking at short imagery of the doneness you want. Simply select that, answer questions such as how thick is your steak, and we can use tools like predictive cooking that anticipate how long it will take to get done. But we didn't really want to stop at the phone, and that's the importance of the software aspects of this. We can keep iterating and evolving and making this tool better. And so I'm actually letting the cat out of the bag a little early. We just found out a few minutes ago that our partnership with Amazon has approved our first Alexa skill. So you can actually use your voice to control Joule. And when your hands are covered in goo, that's pretty useful. As somebody who's been a professional chef, my voice is one of the most effective tools I have in the kitchen. And so the ability to say, Alexa, tell Joule that I want a steak medium rare, or to pull up an app and be able to turn it on and have that fish start cooking before I get home, those are really powerful ways to get more people cooking and being more successful in the kitchen. So we're actually quite excited about the potential of what this has, and we've actually been delighted with the overwhelming support we've had from our community of cooks. We've already sold tens of thousands of these, and we're selling them very, very rapidly. In fact, if you want one, there's a few for sale today at chefsteps.com, but I expect to be sold out probably this evening. So that's Joule, and I promise if you try it, you're going to completely transform how you cook in your kitchen. You're going to eat better, and it's going to be fantastic.
So, Chris, how much does it cost?
$199.
Now, there's an interesting story behind the cost. How much did it cost originally?
It was $299.
So you actually, after you launched, were able to reduce the price before you released the product.
Yeah, we had so much overwhelming demand over the last year that we sort of doubled down, went far more automated with our manufacturing and supply chain, a lot more robotization, which allowed us to make it a lot more affordable. And our real goal is to make it accessible. We see our job as getting people to cook and then provide services and other opportunities on top of a Joule that allow us to keep solving problems for cooks.
Well, Lord knows I need help here.
Yeah.
So-
with cooking too?
Yes. So how does the integration with the Echo work? Do you need an Echo device in the kitchen with you, and you're speaking to the Echo, and then it's communicating to the Joule device?
Yes. So Echo, actually, whether you can use an Echo, a Dash, a Dot now, and any of these services will connect with our cloud to provide the communication with Joule, which is connected via Wi-Fi. We obviously imagine expanding that beyond just the ecosystem, but today that's by far the best way to do it.
So I could say, make me a cheesecake. And
Probably-
it would just magically
actually,
appear.
I take that back. Cheesecake done sous vide is fantastic. If you use mason jars, you can make phenomenal custards and cheesecakes and yogurts. It's not strictly limited to meats and seafoods.
What is the craziest thing you've made with a Joule so far? Because I know if you haven't visited the ChefSteps office and lab and kitchen in in Pike Place Market, you guys do some crazy stuff there, Chris.
So probably the most outlandish stuff we've used our technology for is cooking several hundred pounds of cows and then roasting them in front of a wall of fire.
Yes.
And there's an award-winning, James Beard award-winning film on ChefSteps of us doing exactly that.
So what's your background, and how did you come up with this idea?
I am somebody who bailed on a PhD in biomolecular destruction design, and I became a cook. And then I ended up being the head chef of the development kitchen of a famous restaurant in London called the Fat Duck Restaurant. I met a gentleman named Nathan Myhrvold there, and he and I wrote a series of books called Modernist Cuisine together. So I've been doing sous vide since about 2003. With the completion of Modernist Cuisine, I really felt there was an opportunity to go invent the future of the kitchen, invent better tools that help people succeed.
And you actually have a fascinating group there at ChefSteps at the Pike Place Market, including a lot of Boeing veterans, or some Boeing veterans. It's really a great cross-section of skills.
You know, the types of things we envision doing for the kitchen requires world-class chefs, and we want to document that work and publish it to the world, so you have filmmaking teams and you have writers. But undertaking really ambitious engineering projects requires manufacturing expertise. So we have propulsion aerodynamicists, we have an entire applied math group, because we're trying to build services and augment this tool with intelligence. And so it's a very hard computational problem, so it takes a lot of people. It takes a big team to do this.
Yeah.
We're just getting started. This is not going to be the last thing from ChefSteps.
So you hear a lot about sous vide cooking, and it seems like, are there a lot of competitors out there that are in this arena?
There are certainly other sous vide devices. The category has been seeing explosive growth, so we're very thrilled about that. But we're taking a much longer term view that we're not just looking to sell you a piece of hardware. We're looking to actually change the way you cook, and we believe, somewhat perhaps naively at the end of the day, our job is making people happier in their kitchen. And if we consistently help people choose to cook versus choose not to cook, there's a range of opportunities in the future for us to be a successful business.
Great. It's cool. So that's Invention We Love #1. That is the Joule by ChefSteps. Thank you very much, Chris Young, the CEO and co-founder. Excellent.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice, Chris. Good branding there. I like the box. Nice.
All right. So next up, we are going to be hearing about Monumental, which is reinventing the metals industry for boats, bridges, buildings, and more. Please welcome Christina Lemazny, the founder and CEO of Monumental.
Hi,
Thank
Christina.
you. Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Great to see you too.
Yes. What'd you bring us today?
Well, I brought some metal. I brought some
cool.
Monumental in particular. So at Monumental, I'm going to put these down
Go ahead.
first so that I can use my hands while I talk. We're doing a couple of things at Monumental. We're making a new class of materials, and we're developing a new process of manufacturing. So we make Monumentals, which are nano-laminated alloys, which basically means we're making metallic plywoods, but in our case, our plies are on the nanometer scale, so they're really, really thin. And what that practically means for industry is that we can use the same basic raw materials in producing this class of materials, but we get very different performance characteristics out. So by architecting a material, by creating interfaces in materials, and by manipulating those interfaces, we are actually able to impart material properties that you couldn't get out of, say, a homogeneous piece of steel. And what that means practically in industry is that we can make materials that are many times stronger, we can make materials that don't corrode as quickly, we can make materials that have very different toughness, so their ability to absorb energy, which is important, for example, in a car or an airplane, are completely different, even though we're bringing in the same basic raw materials. Monumental is also a verb, so we also monumentalize. And in fact, it's the monumentalizing that is what is truly breakthrough. So nanolaminated alloys have existed for a long time. They've been the subject of academic research. They're really interesting materials. One article came out a few years ago about the lowest recorded thermal conductivity ever recorded in a fully dense material was a nanolaminated alloy. And that's important because that would mean for us, for example, engines that could run hotter and more efficient. The challenge, though, has been that these are inaccessible materials from an industrial standpoint. They're so expensive to make. And so the breakthrough that we represent at Monumental is a manufacturing process that is cost-effective and, in fact, cost-competitive with conventional metals manufacturing. So we don't use heat in our manufacturing process. We use electricity directly to produce these nanolayered alloys. We are making metal in plastic vats. So if you came and visited our production facility, you'd actually see a big soup of metal in solution, and we're zapping it with electricity, we're modulating an electric field, and we're producing this layered alloy. We're actually growing it. So in fact, very much like the way that Mother Nature builds materials layer by layer, we're building metals layer by layer. We're just doing it a little bit faster. Practically, I have some show and tell for you. So this is a bolt that's been coated by a conventional zinc coating. And this is what's holding like Highway 99 together right now.
Scary. That's very scary. Okay.
That's why I take I-90. Yeah, it's a little bit newer. But it's also it's a basic building material. It turns out that bolts doesn't sound all that sexy, but this is what holds a lot of critical infrastructure together. And we do a lot of testing at Monumental so that we can accelerate what would happen in the field. We put this in what we call Florida in a box, so it's basically high heat and some salt fog, and we check and see how long it takes to corrode. So this is what happened after 1,000 hours. I'll let you hold on to that.
All right.
So show us
Before.
something.
And that's steel coated with zinc. The zinc is there to protect from corrosion.
Okay.
This is the same class of steel. This is coated with our nanolaminated alloy. I'm not allowed to take the sample tags
Am I allowed
off.
to touch this?
You're allowed to touch it.
Huh. Let me test the weight.
They're the same.
Okay.
But this has been in that
obviously not as
Florida in a
corroded.
box for 30,000 hours.
So how many more hours compared to this?
1,000
1,000,
and
30,000.
30,000.
So you'd rather have this holding up State Route 99?
I think so.
Maybe in the Bertha Tunnel, too?
Amen.
Yes, yes.
Amen.
This is so cool. I
Yeah.
think this company is truly, truly groundbreaking and innovative. Where is this being implemented today? I mean, are you in buildings? I know you've done some work with pipelines. Where are these metals found in our daily life?
So we do quite a lot of work in the oil and gas sector.
Okay.
So in things like tubulars and pipes, in bolts that are used in that sector. And the reason that we're working primarily in the oil and gas sector is because that's an area in an industrial environment where there is a lot of corrosion, and corrosion costs a lot. Right, so if you think about oil and gas production, you're looking at an industry now that can't afford a high operating cost, but you're also talking about an environment that's getting more and more corrosive. And so that affects our safety. It affects all of our safety to the extent that that infrastructure is degrading. So what we do is produce materials that are corrosion resistant, they're wear resistant, they last much longer, and they're much more robust in the field.
Mm-hmm.
I have some other cool pictures,
cool.
though.
Okay, let's see it.
Or show and tell.
And by the way, I'm going to set this down. The whole corrosion thing is like there's dust kicking up. I've got it all over my hands.
Cool.
It's the other thing. It's
Yeah,
a gross
yeah,
factor.
yeah,
Yes.
So this is a wrench that we printed on a 3D printer, just a plain old 3D printer, and you can see there's really not much to it. You can kind of bend it.
All right.
Right. You can't do much with it. 3D printing today is used quite a lot for form-fit analysis. So if you if you wanted to try out a new design for a wrench, that would be a great application for 3D printing. What we can do, though, now, because we have an additive manufacturing process and a growth process, is build tools that are like our bone structure, right? So we're basically creating an exoskeleton. If you were to cross-section your bone, you'd find some like spongy stuff inside, and then basically a laminated structure that is what's bearing the load. And so there you go. You actually have a metal
So
part.
this was 3D printed as well?
It's and monumentalized, again.
Monumentalized. Look at that.
Amen.
Could you would
Can
it
I
be
break that?
possible to break it?
It is eventually possible to break it.
Okay.
No. That's mine. But it actually works. So now you have a functional tool that you can actually use for a real purpose. And so now we've gone from a form-fit analysis component to an actual part that can be used in the field in one step.
So talk about your background. 'Cause you also have some Boeing lineage as well, right?
I do. I actually started out of college at the Boeing company working in metals manufacturing.
Yeah, and then how did you make the transition to this idea? What struck you as like there's a new way
Sure. So
to build new metals, you know?
I had a little bit of a transition in between. I actually spent most of my undergraduate research and then after Boeing working in the field of electrochemistry, which is actually the field that's core to our manufacturing process. But actually, instead of manufacturing metals, we were extracting metals, radioactive metals, as the case was, from soil and groundwater. So I actually helped with the Chernobyl cleanup and a whole bunch of other really cool, very contaminated sites.
Wow.
But we were using electricity to extract metals. Now we're using electricity to manufacture metals.
So what's holding your company back from having, I mean, because this seems like, as I said, a huge idea. Like you could see the biodomes we heard about earlier today and the Amazon building being built with Monumental. You could monumentalize many, many things. What's holding you back from scaling this to the point that you could turn this into a massive company?
Sure. So the biggest challenge that we face in industrializing and bringing this technology to industrial sector applications is actually standards. So we operate in markets where there's actually quite a lot of regulation. So in fact, the bolting standard for the Washington Department of Transportation describes this ASTM A153 hot dip galvanizing system as a requirement.
Oh boy.
Right? And so to
Don't cross
change
99
that,
during the big one.
to change that means changing the foundational standards. It
Oh,
means
wow.
It means changing the specifications. And so we really have to change that entire regulatory framework in order to be able to introduce materials. So we do a lot of deployments today that are off spec. So there has to be a very strong justification for deploying these materials. And we also work very closely with the regulatory bodies now to change that standards base. I actually serve on the board of ASTM International, which is the group that develops those standards just so that we can start broadening those specs and bring in new materials. So, yeah.
Christina, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Love hearing the story.
Thank
you
you.
so
Yeah,
much. Let's
thanks.
hear it for Christina Lemazny at Monumental.
So that's invention number 2.
And I'll take that broken.
Okay, yes. I don't have a need for that.
Thanks.
All right. Now we're on to invention number 3, the Cliplet from Lulabop. This is a modified carabiner with a rotating folding hook. Please welcome to the stage Mina Yu, the founder of Lulabop. It's great to have you here. Thank you.
Hi, Mina. How are you? Good to see you.
Good to meet you. Okay, I have one favor from you that I need to ask. We have to all pretend that this is a tree. Okay? All right. Thank you for having me here. It's great to be here with my fellow geeks. I'm the CEO of Lulabop, which is the company that makes the Cliplet. The Cliplet is a product that makes life easier. So to describe what it does is a fully functional carabiner that opens up into a hook and rotates with a rubber tip so it can hang or rest anywhere, anytime. Now, so what? What is the point? Why did I come up with this? Well, a few years ago, 4.5 years ago to be exact, I realized that so many of the things that I love to do, hiking, traveling, climbing mountains, even going to work, playing with my friends, playing with my kids too, not necessarily in that order. All of my favorite things often required lugging a lot of stuff. In fact, I looked a lot like this, where I was wearing a bike helmet, carrying my yoga mat, carrying my kids' stuff. So I felt like something had to happen. I really needed an extra hand, and I couldn't find one. And I couldn't find a product that addressed all the needs of my particular lifestyle. So I decided to create the Cliplet. So we like to think of the Cliplet as the extra hand that everyone needs. And in fact, we started out on crowdfunding like many other consumer product businesses. We were on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and we pre-sold 12,000 units to about 4,500 people, which we thought was pretty awesome. Also, one of the early reviewers for us called the Cliplet perfect for anyone living on Earth. And as somebody who believes that the best technologies should be inclusive, we were really thrilled to hear that. Now, besides the usability of the Cliplet, there are a couple other things that makes the Cliplet really special. The first is that the way it's made. So I'm sure every single one of you has some kind of a carabiner somewhere. This is very special because each unit is made with solid aircraft-grade aluminum. So the solid aluminum goes into a CNC machine, which is really cool, and it has all these parts, and it just shapes the solid aluminum into shape. So it's really strong. It only weighs 2 ounces, but it can hold 50 pounds. So you can hang your bicycle off of it, pretty much. The second reason this is really special is that just last week, we found out that our utility patent was granted. And anyone who's applied for a patent knows what a long, expensive, drawn-out, heartbreaking process it can be. And oftentimes, I understand that they don't even happen. So we feel really lucky and very proud. So the last thing that I want to talk to you about regarding why this is so special to us is that we designed this with scalability in mind. So other people in this room who has a hardware kind of business knows how difficult it is to scale up. So knowing that, from the onset, we decided to come up with a design that would allow us to create variations more quickly and more cheaply. So for example, our next product coming out is going to be a plastic version of this that's a little bit larger, but just as strong at a lower price point that's going to be geared towards the home improvement market. So this is the Cliplet. Please check us out at lulabop.com. We're also at Brookstone, REI, Big Five, Fireworks, and a lot of other retailers out there. And our promise to you is that your life will get easier. Or even easier if it's easy already.
So, Mina, just imagine how much weight that could hold if you monumentalized it.
I know, but it's only anodized.
All right. I mean,
Which
you
is
could
so
be
cool.
holding the whole 520 bridge or 99 off that thing.
And then I'd have to take off the only inert objects warning. And we could hang people.
All right.
So one of the reasons that we love this invention is the story behind it. And as you alluded to, this grew out of your own personal experience. Can you go a little bit more into the inspiration specifically for you? Because it was literally you didn't have enough hands.
Totally. So 5 years ago, 2 pretty monumental things happened. One was the birth of my first kid, named Kai, super adorable but very large. The second thing I did when he was about 4 months old was that I made the decision to summit Mount Rainier. I didn't know how hard it would be, but as soon as I found out, I was like, I'm not going to give up. So I started training with my backpack, weighted like 50 pounds, and this is April in Seattle. So I'm climbing, and I want to take a break. I set my backpack down. It gets muddy and soggy, and I put it on, and then get in the car gets muddy. So I was thinking, okay, why am I carrying so much stuff all the time? And I wasn't ready to just leave my stuff at home, so I tried to devise a solution that would address my needs as a climber, a hiker, and also a parent.
That's great. Something you said earlier, there's a nuance in what you said about your patent. It is a utility patent, not a design patent.
Yes.
Explain for folks who may not know why that's so important.
Okay, warning, I am not an attorney, but I know there's some in here. So the difference, as I understand, between a utility and design patent is that the utility patent, like the one I got, actually patents this whole process. So a carabiner with a hook attached with a rotating device, and we have a pretty slick locking system where the hook goes inside the spring. So this is what has been patented. A design patent would be just the aesthetics of it.
Yeah.
That's my understanding.
Which I talked to somebody just recently who's in a very similar kind of process right now, and she was saying that really the design patent was all she could do. So it's quite a victory to be able to get it, to actually get a utility patent granted.
We were excited.
So what is that going to mean for your business?
Well, I mean, first, I hope that it means that people won't be knocking me off, although I have heard that it is inevitable. But as I mentioned before, because this is a platform-based design, so basically, if we keep these two the same, we can basically do anything with these portions. So we can make it bigger, we can make it smaller, we can make different shapes, and that is how we're going to expand our company relatively quickly.
How many employees do you have?
Right now, I have one full-time employee, Ms.
Was she up
Kira
here doing-
Duff.
Yes, yes, she was
such a good
also your
sport.
model as well. Okay.
She's like my everything.
Yes.
And I have several part-timers who help me with various
Cool.
things.
And what was the cost? I didn't catch the
This
cost.
is $19.95.
$19.95. So it's kind of pricey for a carabiner, no?
You think so?
I don't
Really?
know.
There
I
are
actually
carabiners
don't
out
think
there
so.
that are $100.
Jeez, sorry, guys.
Yeah,
All right.
God, you're
Hey.
such a cheapskate.
I
Jeez,
know.
come on.
Did you hear it? Solid aircraft-grade aluminum.
Okay.
Anodized.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, all
She
right.
just got a patent, dude.
Okay,
Come on.
okay. I know those
Yeah.
attorneys are expensive, so you gotta. But okay.
All right, good. So that is invention number 3, the
Thank you.
Cliplet
Thank
from
you.
Lulabop.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Mina.
you.
All right, I'm excited about this next one. Here, maybe you can sell those.
Oh yes. Mina, these are. I don't want to leave $40 up here. Oh no,
right.
really? Okay. Well. All right.
She said, "Give it to Todd." All right, next up. When this story broke on GeekWire, I have to tell you, the reaction was off the charts,
Yes.
positive and negative.
Some very, yes.
So let me set you up here. So this is the package guard. It's a Wi-Fi enabled device that notifies customers when packages are delivered or removed from the doorsteps.
Yeah, Mike Grab him, the founder of the package guard. So Mike, welcome.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
it
you
away,
very much.
Mike.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. So we launched a Kickstarter back in March 8th of this year, and as Todd and John said, it got some interesting reaction. It is a very simple device. So all of us in this room, I will guarantee you, get packages delivered to your home. Is there anyone that doesn't get a package delivered to their home? Thank God. So everyone gets a package delivered to their home. What we do as Americans, or any people on earth, we order it because we want it delivered to our doorstep. We want to walk out in our jammies and pick it up, right? That's why we order online. That's why Amazon is so successful. What happens now is people are now walking and picking up packages that aren't theirs and taking them off your doorstep. That's not good. That's a bad thing. So it happened to me almost 2 full years ago. So I invented a product that I'm holding in my hand that stops and helps stop package theft. So it's placed wherever you get packages, front door, back door, side door, I don't care where it is. It sits there, UPS, FedEx, Amazon, whoever drops a package off. The very second they drop a package off, you get a notification. So if it happens to be John's house, he's getting a notification that says, hey, you got a package. If Todd's John's neighbor, Todd could also get the same alert saying, hey, John got a package. So if Todd happened to be home and John was out of town, Todd go pick it up for him, right? So if bad person Taylor walks by and steals the package, right? Steals the package. The very second that he lifts the package off, you have a very loud alarm. I can't do it in here because it's too loud. You have a very loud alarm that sounds. Let's see if I can get it to play here.
It's very loud.
It is very loud. It's very loud. It's actually, so it's 100 decibels. It's 100 decibels, which is illegally as loud as we can go. So it sounds like a fire alarm. It's obviously on your front porch. So it alerts, hey, there's something going wrong at this person's house. Therefore, let your neighbors, everyone else know that, hey, there's something bad happening there. Because currently, the solution is this. There is none, right? That's the solution. You walk up, you steal the package, you walk away. There's absolutely no deterrent whatsoever. There's cameras, but cameras don't deter anything. They just record it. So there is no deterrent right now. So with the package guard, which is patented, design, utility, and trademark.
Whoa.
Wow.
Look at you.
Because I have a great sponsor, Seed IP, right? So it is a patent device, and it will be in your on your online store. November 7th will be the launch date for the product.
Mike, what's stopping me from when I steal the package,
Sure.
picking it up and just slamming that thing on and destroying the package guard
Well,
and walking away?
Hold that. It's probably not going
It's
to.
pretty hefty. It's more hefty than I thought. Yeah.
It's not going to happen. I can stand on this. Actually, you and I could both stand on
Okay.
this, and it would hold us up.
So essentially,
great.
you've got a sensor inside.
It's a bathroom scale with a Wi-Fi and an alarm on it. I mean, honestly. It's not rocket science here, guys.
American ingenuity. Yes. Yes.
Hey, anyone that knows me, I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm just
You
a guy.
weren't at Boeing.
I was
Some
not
of
a
our
Boeing.
previous guests. Yes.
I do have a math degree, but I'm not a Boeing.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. So how much does it cost?
It's going to be $69 retail.
Whoa, a little
Yeah.
steep.
Yeah, whoa. That's an expensive one.
Yeah.
We have a couple options, though. We're going to do some interesting things. You see in the middle of the device where you see this package guard, which is our brand, what we're going to be doing is we're going to allow people to actually customize that circle and sponsor the circle. So we actually have sponsors that have paid to be on that device and sitting on your front door.
This seems like a natural.
Ad supported.
Wow.
Yeah, shouldn't this just be an Amazon acquisition?
That's not my call. Not my call.
Is anybody else doing this?
No. My wife, who's in the audience, she's like, "You are nuts. This has got to exist. It doesn't exist." 2 years ago, it happened to me. I got a box stolen from a nonprofit we have. It just got stolen. I'm like, oh, there's got to be a solution, right? Not a solution. There's stuff. There's a big box you can put on your front porch, right? The locking box, expensive and big.
Yeah.
There's, of course, go to Amazon lockers. Do that, UPS lockers. You can have it, deliver it to your office. But going back and thinking about that changes behaviors, changes everyone's behaviors. What we want is to walk out in our skivvies and pick up the box. That's what we want.
That was the tweet, guys. What we wanted to walk out in our skivvies
Yeah,
and
pick up
the box.
walk out in your skivvies and pick up your box. That's what you want to do.
Yes. Yes. So how is it notifying you? How do the notifications work?
It's either text or in-app. I have iOS and Android app both,
Okay.
right? So you get either one. You can get a text that says, "Hey, you got a package." And like I said, we have what we call the safe circle.
And when I come and pick up my package, how do I disarm it?
Disarm it.
Just before I arrive to pick up the package.
Yeah, it takes about a second.
So one of the reasons I love this story, tell people what you do in the startup world. Mike.
I run a monthly event called Startup Grind that I've been doing 4.5 years. I do it every single month. I interview some smart person for about an hour or so in front of an audience, anywhere from 70 to 150 people. So I've been lucky enough to interview John. I've interviewed lots and lots of people here in the technology world. So I'm heavily involved in the startup world. Let's just say that.
It's a great startup series if you've never gotten a chance to go, so highly recommended. We often go and get news out of it, frankly.
Yeah, I know Taylor goes.
Yeah. So we've been joking about this, but I mean, is this are you like
I'm full-time, baby.
100% in on
Full-time,
this? This
baby.
is your
This
thing?
is for real?
You are
As
going all
full-time
in.
as Mike Grabham can get, that's what I am.
All right.
I'm all in. It's I've talked to all the big players you would think. Some interesting people have called that you wouldn't think about.
So what is that? You've done Kickstarter.
Successful.
You're going to be launching it. What is your distribution strategy for the
So we have a
product?
couple ways. We're going to do heavily online, meaning via email, via an affiliate marketing program that I have a friend that's helping me build that out.
Okay.
It's a really robust affiliate marketing group. I'll be selling, of course, an Amazon Launchpad, and then there's a couple of partners I'll be working with. Retail will be next year. It takes a while, so I'm meeting with the big boys in the next few weeks to see about distribution in the
Great.
2017.
Good
So it'll
deal.
be out there. You'll see it. Like I said, it will say, the Grinch will not steal Christmas with this. The Grinch will not steal Christmas. So it'll be out in time for Christmas.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Mike
Great
Grabham,
being here.
Package
Guard. Yes.
Invention number
Thanks,
4.
Mike.
Thank
cool
you.
stuff. Very good. Very good.
All right. I'm super excited about this next one, John.
Okay.
I am
Let's
really
hear
excited.
it. Let's hear it.
Okay. Coming up next, Koros. This is a smart helmet that delivers sound through bone conduction technology. Please welcome Chuck Frizzell, the president of Koros.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. So I'm Chuck Frizzell, president of Koros Wearables. We're a sports tech company, and as a sports tech company, our mission is to make sports more enjoyable, more safe, and also more social. So this is our very first project. This is a Koros Lynx smart cycling helmet, and this is the world's very first helmet that allows precision audio for cyclists so they can ultimately tune in to the traffic and all the hazards around them, while at the exact same time they're listening to music, they're listening to podcasts, Spotify, calls, communications with other cyclists, ride data, etc. So we're on Kickstarter right now. We are 440% of our goal. We still have 3 more weeks, so you guys can help us out there. And then we also will be at retail starting at the beginning of November. So we're excited about that. It's $199. So what's the problem? So any of you cyclists out there, you know music is a pretty good deal when you're on a cycle. There are a lot of people that are doing it, but unfortunately, their solution is earbuds, and it's wired earbuds to your phone. The problem is earbuds are also what I call earplugs, because you can't hear anything. Everything around you is completely obscured. So it's unsafe. It's unsafe to you. It's unsafe to other riders around you, and it's actually illegal in a number of states. So what we have done is we've resolved that problem with Koros links. There's a system with both the helmet, we've got a smart remote right here, and then an app. And it's all wirelessly connected to your smartphone. So let's just start with the helmet. So the helmet is a premium helmet. This is a great helmet for cyclists. And what we've done is we've integrated bone conduction technology into the helmet. This is patent pending. And so what you get out of it, and hopefully I won't hose up the microphone here. I got my music playing right now, so I had to turn it off. So what you get is all of your audio then is sent via vibrations, and it goes to the inner ear through the cochlea. And what that does is that leaves the outer ear completely open so you can listen to hazards, you can enjoy the environment around you, etc. So that's bone conduction. And then what we also have is a precision microphone, and the microphone allows for two-way communication. And thirdly, what we have is we've got a crash detection on it. So ultimately, if you hit with enough impact, the G sensor will trigger an emergency alert off to a loved one, okay? So now we also have the remote right here. The remote simply has a mount. It goes on your handlebars there, and that controls your audio. The last part is we have an app, and the app does a lot of different things, but primarily what it's doing is it's giving you voice navigation, turn by turn, and then it's also giving you voice data. So you can get information like your speed, your distance, your time, even your calorie burn while you're riding. So ultimately, this is the system. This is being validated by a whole bunch of different riders, a bunch of different types of riders, and that also includes 12 riders that have done anywhere from a 14 to a 22-hour journey at a single time, which I think is crazy for those of you that are endurance riders. But to a person, they said that the helmet was extremely comfortable, it was lightweight, it was very well ventilated, it fit really nicely throughout the journey, but most importantly was the audio kept them going. They really enjoyed the music, they enjoyed the calls, they enjoyed the communication with other cyclists, and the ride data as well. So anyway, that's Koros Links. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Lots of questions, Sean. Okay. So how many folks in the audience have ever ridden with earbuds in their ears? And I'll raise my hand too. I love listening to podcasts. I love riding my bike. I get on the Burt Gilman Trail. Hey, you know, the sound, you've totally sold me on this. So how does the integration with the smartphone work? You've got the remote. Is it Bluetooth to the remote?
It's Bluetooth. So everything is wirelessly connected back to the phone. So really simple. The connection initially is seamless. You turn on the helmet right here. You open up your app. You push 2 buttons, and the system's operating. You're ready to go.
Okay. And so in terms of the sound quality, you said it was, did you say high fidelity? Is that what you said? Or high?
I call it precision.
Precision.
Yeah, it's not like you have Bose speakers on your head, but there's a reason for that. That's going to get people killed. So yeah, but it is precision audio, meaning it's placed, and you can listen to any type of music, and it sounds great.
What are the potential legal ramifications for you? Let's say somebody does get in an accident and blames Koros for the distraction.
Yeah, well, that's a very good question. I think you could probably talk to the earbud guys as well in terms of what sort of liability they're looking at. So hopefully I won't have to answer that, but I'll get the lawyers back to you on that. But what we are doing, right now, earbuds are illegal in a number of states. and it's because they're obstructed hearing aids. And so in this case, we're unobstructed, the ears are wide open. We're trying to bring safe audio to cycling instead of bringing impediments.
I know you probably see some of these folks on the Burke-Gilman Trail when I'm riding the people that have like their boom box on their bike.
Yeah.
What about those folks?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
they're
no,
just like blasting it out for everybody on the trail.
Yeah, that's a
I've
good
seen
one.
people with actual
Yeah.
over-the-ear headphones, and to me, that's actually way worse than the earbuds.
Yeah.
I actually disagree with you a little bit on the earbuds. I think if you keep the sound low, it's not.
No.
Are you
disagree
going to
with that.
enable me on
Nah,
this? Okay.
I disagree.
Yeah, there's
So-
7 or 8
I think
states
that's
that disagree with that.
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
so on the sound quality, how does it compare to earbuds?
I love it. I think it's
Is
great.
it on par with it, or
Yeah,
better or worse?
absolutely. Well, it's not on par because you can listen to very high quality $200 earbuds, and those are high
Right.
fidelity earbuds. That's not what we're building
Yeah.
here. What we're giving you is entertainment, a little bit of productivity because you can take and make calls, you can make your calls, you can have other conversations with fellow bike riders. What we want is you to go out and have an enjoyable ride, which is, listen, if you want to listen to REM or Van Halen, whatever it happens to be at 22 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour, or 30 miles an hour, you can do that.
Okay.
And
Van
it sounds
Halen would
great.
get me up
It sounds
to,
great.
Get you up
8th
the
Avenue,
8th Avenue.
8th Avenue Hill.
Yeah.
So what, you're just finishing your Kickstarter? Is this going to be, when will this be released more broadly?
Yeah, I'm glad you teed that one up. So ultimately, our Kickstarter will end on October 24th, and the shipments are coming in right now. Our objective is to get the surveys out and start shipping this starting November 1st, which is coincidentally the same day that we're going to be at retail.
Nice.
Wow.
So
Wonderful.
there's a
stuff.
lot.
What's your
in front of us.
background? How'd you come up with the idea?
Yeah, so, well, my background is tech, so I've done hardware, software, and services, Microsoft, Jawbone, Plantronics. I was fortunate enough to co-found the company when the helmet was already at prototype stage, so I came in. Fortunately, my mitts and the mitts of my team have been able to influence some of the direction of the helmet, certainly the direction of the app and also the smart remote. So I can't take full credit for that, but I think the team delivered really a terrific helmet, and that was part of the big reason why I came to the
it's
company.
cool. The design's cool. I mean, it's a sharp-looking helmet.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
It's
And-
it's a little heavier than mine, but not much.
Where's the
more so.
mic?
Yeah,
The
so the
mic
mic
is-
is right here. And so
Okay.
what happens is that really is a really nice wind-resistant mic. What happens
Right.
is you have the airflow doing this, channeling this way and this way. So it's almost creating a vacuum. So I can go out 21, 22 miles an hour, not a problem whatsoever.
Wow.
And by the way, that's usually downhill.
Yeah.
So
Great.
Cool. Very cool.
This is
Yeah.
awesome. Okay. Well, that is invention number 5. It is the Koros Smart Helmet.
So
And-
why don't you stick up here,
Yeah, stick
Chuck,
up here,
because
Chuck.
we actually are going to bring up all 5 of our inventors.
Yeah, and as we're doing that, let's check in with Guillaume over here. Guillaume, do you have a mic over there, Guillaume? No? Okay.
Well, what I'm loving about Guillaume's drawings is like in real time, he recreated the Joule, the Monumental, the Cliplet,
Yeah.
the Koros, and the package guard. Let's hear it for Guillaume. That is amazing.
That is
I could
pretty
never
cool.
do that. It's so cool. Guillaume, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. over
Which
there.
one would you vote for, Guillaume? Which is your favorite? Which would you use?
Well, let's not influence the crowd.
All right, all right,
Let's
all
not
right.
influence the crowd.
Okay,
because
wait.
we do have a very scientific poll here before we go. Let's line up in order of presentation, just for ease. So, Chuck, let's put you at the end. Christina was second. Mina third. Yep. There we go. So, Todd has a handy-dandy applause meter.
Decibel meter, yeah.
Decibel meter of sorts. I thought we could do it old school way, but
Okay.
let's get as loud as we can
Okay.
for our favorites here, and we're going to track this in real time.
Yep. Will somebody watch and see which one gets the max?
Yeah, somebody needs to watch
honest.
this where we get the max.
Up there.
All right, so let's hear it for ChefSteps. All right, okay.
Okay, wait. Okay,
Did
we
you
got.
did you
all
get that, Todd?
Yep. Did you get that one? 97, Kurt? Yep. All right.
All right. Great inventions this year. All awesome stuff. Monumental. Whoa. Little burst
That's a
there
good
at the end. All right.
You got
okay.
that one? Just a sec. Okay.
The Cliplet.
All right. Just hold on a second here.
This is so high
So
tech.
scientific.
So scientific. So there's a lot at stake, by the way, too. The package guard. Okay.
High entertainment value.
Okay, one last one here.
Are we ready? Ready, Todd?
Yep, go ahead.
The Koros. Do we catch
Okay.
that? I think I wasn't paying attention. I think
Okay.
it was.
So it's, according to our official scorekeeper, Kurt Schlosser down there in the GeekWire team, it's a tie between Joule and the Koros.
Really?
Yes.
What do we do? Arm wrestle or have a sous vide fight off? Or
Is there a
just
prize?
a tie? There is no prize. Bragging rights.
It's all for the honor.
All for the honor.
Hey,
well, yes. Congrats to everybody for doing it. Awesome inventions. I mean, I think it's so cool seeing all this
Thank
stuff.
you so
Yeah,
much. That
yeah.
was awesome.
Big round of applause for our
Cool.
inventions we love.
Thank you. Thank you to our inventors. Yes, yes. We always
Thank
have
you.
fun with
That was
this.
awesome.
It's such
Thank
a great,
you. Thank you so much.
such a great time bringing up just different startups and different entrepreneurs here in the community to show off what they're working on.